Hey everybody, welcome to the daily update, the Lund Loop daily update for Thursday, June 4th, 2026. I'm short on time today because I've got to get to some graduation stuff, so we're going to have a little more utilitarian update today. Yesterday, we saw some selling start, and even though the index wasn't down very much, it was down 0.75%, we did see a lot of names that got hit, and we had the Lund Loop watch list get cleaned out a bit. Closed at the low of the day. And so, just something to watch out for. We had a little bit in the sectors, like a little bit of a hint, like maybe we'd see some fall through. And sure enough, this morning we opened up down pretty big. But the minute we opened up, buyers just stepped in like they've done before. And we had this big candle on the SPX, a little bit of consolidation. Then it was off to the races. We recaptured the low of yesterday. You start getting that spread on the moving averages like we've seen 100 times before. There's the 20 as support, 20 as support again and again, and a little bit of profit taking at the end of the day. It was the same thing on all the indexes except for the Qs. So you have IWM, again, right at the jump, right off of yesterday's low too. Look at that. And then that spread, and there's the 20. Isn't it amazing how that 20 works out as support or resistance? Same action on the Dow, except the Dow gapped up. So the only one that was really weaker, relatively speaking, was the NASDAQ. So NASDAQ initially gets that buying, but then it rolls over a couple times, and then it looks like maybe we're going to see some real divergence, but buyers show up again. They drive us up and recapture yesterday's low, and we closed just a bit below it. What was really odd this morning is that when I first looked at my charts, I saw healthcare was up, healthcare was green. Some software names were up, right? So that was weird with the futures down so much. But there's a lot of names right now that just can't seem to get going. Let's take a look at some of them. Look at Meta here. Tried to go today and sold off most of the day. Had a little pop at the end of the day. How about Microsoft? Microsoft can't get going. It had this big run here. It's given back most of it. It's given about 2/3 of it back. And so Microsoft is right on the precipice where it's a coin flip here. There's the rocket, here's the pullback, and then we could just be like boom like this, or we could roll over. Now, I don't think software is done. I said that yesterday, but we're really not in a spot where there's a lot of edge. Look at Palantir. Big run up here, comes back down, can't get going. And again, which way are we going to go? It's a coin flip. Tesla's having a hard time getting going here. In fact, it's looking a little toppy. If it breaks this VWAP, that's probably not good. Look at ASTS, which is space. There's obviously a lot of focus on the SpaceX thing. It can't get going. NVIDIA. And so NVIDIA is like, if we have a coin flip here between Microsoft and NVIDIA. So NVIDIA, to me, this looks kind of like, okay, this one's going to follow through. Whereas Microsoft looks more like it's going to go down here because one's got a red bar today and one's got a green bar today. And even things like iron, which had broken out yesterday and then failed and then gapped down. So we're in a spot right now that we've been at a bunch of times before. And what is that spot? We start to get a little bit of a sell-off. We see buyers come in, and then what do? We slingshot. Jay, I'm stealing your term again. We slingshot, boom, through the next day. We've seen it so many times in this run. Will it happen again? There's no reason to think it won't happen again, except there are just some names that are they're just slipping. They're trying to get their traction and they can't seem to do it. And so it just feels very, I wouldn't say binary. I'd say it's probably 65, 70% we go up here, but maybe it's 60%, 65%. And I'd say it's 40, 45%. That's not 100, is it? I don't know. It feels like a little bit more than 50-50 we go up. Whereas in these last, dips like this, I'm like, yeah, we're just going to break through for sure. So look, from a technical standpoint, nothing's wrong. SPX looks great. Recaptured the 8-day. Nothing wrong there. Closed close to the high of the day. A little bit of profit selling. Q's a little bit weaker there. But again, buyers step in where they need to, push it back up, and normally we would see some sort of fall through. The best part of today was the fact that IWM, which looked really, not shaky, but it looked like it was in danger of coming back into this range, boom, And I think that is that a close? What do we hear? Oh, what's the close? 292 and 292.03. So we just barely missed an all-time high on IWM, and the Dow actually did go into all-time highs, which the Dow looked, that was a pretty ugly bar yesterday. We were talking about that. Somebody put a name in the Discord. What was the name that they put in there? Let's see. Yeah, I think I called it a bearish engulfing. No, bearish piercing. And then King David said it's a bear sash pattern. I've never heard of a bear sash pattern in my life. All right. I don't know. Did Neeson really call it a bear sash pattern? Doesn't matter. We know the action here. But here, guess what? This is an anti-sash pattern because we just went to all-time highs. So looking at everything from a technical standpoint, from a not trying to divine things, from not seeing if my bursitis hurts, technically everything's fine. Everything's fine. But I just feel like some names could be not fine very quick. So that's just a really bad vocabulary there, isn't it, Brian? All right, let's go through the sectors. Hey, look, Dick. Hey, the Dix is going in the right direction. The VIX is going in the right direction. Right? It's going in the right direction here. It didn't quite. Let's see. Did we get right there? Whew. But it's going in the right direction. Love to see it fall through here tomorrow. TLT. It's going in the right direction. Consolidating up here. Getting ready to maybe break above that 50. That would be good for the market. Dixie looks like it wants to go higher. If this thing fails, that would be good for the market, I think. Okay. Mags bounce where it needs to, but it really needs to get back up into this area. Because just one plunge through here and we got a double top. DRAM, yeah, gaps down to the 8. But again, we could just do the same thing here like we did here. So a little bit ambiguity here. SMH down, but look where it bounced, right on support. Tells you that buyers are still there. IGV, to me, this looks like the pullback is over. Okay, so we pull back into the 8, and now the next move would be up like this. But some of those software names that we talked about fall in line. Now, this is probably the best news or the best action today. XLF, love that this is breaking. I love it. That's great. And I love that Carrie's doing this as well because strong financials are good for the market. XHB, starting to slowly move out of this consolidation area. That's good too. Oil, maybe failing, but just on the precipice there. I mean, if we had some announcement tonight, we talked about this the other day in the trading room, is that the president had said something about like oil prices are going to drop or something. He made something about oil going lower really quick. Maybe we get some announcement out of nowhere, and it drops oil, and then that gives us the next impetus for a move up. Gold and silver just going sideways here, not doing much. This was the big news today. XLV breaking out. Again, not unsimilar to the action that we had here in XHB, right? Testing, breaking the trend line, consolidating, then breaking higher. Testing, breaking the trend line. This one actually came back and tested it, and then boom, big move there. What's it? XBI. All right, still in the channel. That's good. TAN. Reversal right there where it needed to. Now see if it can follow through. And Bitcoin. All right, so look, Bitcoin has been selling off. So is crypto. If you're into Bitcoin, this is the candle right here. You're going to try to buy above this one. But the thing is that everything else looks horrible. Like Bitcoin's the only thing that looks remotely good. And pot looks like it wants to go again. These names want to go again. Cureleaf wants to go. Cron wants to go. Whoops. But if history is any lesson, we know what will happen here with pot. It will just fail like it always does. Such a loser sector. Look at that. Look at that, the trend line. All right, so a couple things going over. Now look, today's one of those days where really you had, I think to put yourself in the best position, you needed to catch a turn intraday. and then decide if you want to hold it overnight. Because again, I just feel like we're on that precipice. But SATL, which we were in recently, see what I'm saying here is that like you would have wanted to catch this. Well, this didn't really give you a turn intraday, but I think this could go. It's right there on the 50. That's the spot where you'd think it would go. So we're going to take it over the green list. QS. This is more like what I'm talking about, right? Where you get this flush and you catch it on one of these moves here, and then you decide at the end of the day whether you want to hold it or not. I like this big bar here, pushing up into this area. I think this could just go. It's not set up on the daily, so it's going to go on the purple list. ONDS, right? So you get this rip. You get a pretty aggressive pullback right to support. Looks like we're going to fail, and buyers step in. This is when you think it's going to go this way. But like I said, a lot of these things I feel like they could go either way, but this one I think has a good shot. Again, it's one of those things where you probably wanted to buy somewhere in here. So that goes to the purple list. Path, it's another one, right? Went from 9, 13. It had this big post-earnings move that it ripped into, pulled back here on lower volume. Again, one of those things right on the precipice. Could be rubber band back here, boom, or it could be fail. I'm going to put it on the purple list. What was on the green list? Tesla. Gosh, dang it. I mean, I got to tell you, it looks below here, it looks like a short. Above here, it looks like a long. I'm going to keep it. Joby, another one of these. It's pulled back pretty aggressively, but feels like it could go. Oracle. That looks better. See, this is the type of move I like. Here, very shallow pullback. Reversal off the 8. That's a better version of what we're seeing on these other names, right? Like ASTS, right? There's the rip, but then you have this aggressive pullback. This is a beautiful pullback here. So actually, to tell you the truth, this should go to the green list. BB probably could go. I'd like one more day here. And look at this one. So CrowdStrike, we talked about this yesterday after hours. It was down big. Again, this is, talk about that reversal, right? Like something like that. And then you decide whether you're going to stay in it. Yeah, look, I mean, you did or you didn't take it into earnings. It's technically active because it's still above here. And to tell you the truth, I think you could see some follow through. So I'm going to put it on the purple list. Yeah, so I'm not real confident in a lot of these setups here. But really, there's just nothing from a technical standpoint that's telling me that the indexes are in trouble. It's just the act. Look, I don't want to sound arrogant, but like this is like 40 years of watching stocks. Something just feels a little bit off. But you can't really trade on things feeling off. So you just got to go with your technicals. Got to go with your risk management. That's all you can do. So anyway, if you're not in the trading room, get in there. Probably won't see you there tonight because I'm doing some grad stuff, but I might see you there. If not, I'll see you there in the morning. Bye.